welcome back to Bulletproof Mindset, Scotland's #1 health, fitness and entertainment podcast. So in today's episode, we cover off alcohol. Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? Where does it have its part to play in health and fitness? And what actually happens to the body when you drink it, on your sleep, on your performance, on your muscle building, whatever it may be.
Before we get into this massive topic, nothing to do with drink related, we have obviously our Starting Strong 12-week program, which is going to help you in the gym, increase your mobility, your strength, your confidence, and your overall health, which we're also going to get into when we're speaking about drink. So if you're listening to this for the full month of November, I can't even mind when this is going to be out, but you still will have a couple of days.
Thursday. No, you've got 50. At the point of recording, you have 15 days left to get this awesome discount.
Yep.
Which
is Starting Strong 30, so it's 30% off. The link will be in the description to both our plans. One is free plan and one is the Starting Strong 12-week plan. We also have a free lower back mobility guide, because sometimes when people drink they hurt their back. I don't even know, but it is there if you need it.
And of course, before we get into today's conversation, make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast or Audible, wherever it is you choose to listen, the best way you can support the show and keep us kind of going with the content that we produce is by leaving us a cheeky wee review, but make sure it's 5 stars. So with that being said,
let's get into today's episode.
Right. Alcohol.
Aye.
How was your weekend? Did you have much alcohol over the weekend?
Of course I did not.
So you were saying before we started this, your ADHD ramps up a lot more at the weekend. What do you mean? Like, how are you just like fucking bouncing about the walls and stuff?
Aye, in the house. Aye.
Fidgety.
Aye.
You should put that effort to cleaning your house. That's what you should do.
Nah. I read 80 pages of a book yesterday again. That's what I do.
Aye.
I wrote a couple of pages on my journal, and I went out with my dad and I went on a big walk and I listened to that full podcast. So I did actually spend my time, but it was in them. Like, but if I don't do anything, like, see, people can just sit and watch telly, I can't do that. Do you know, right, like, you know, when couples, right? And I now realise why I don't enjoy it. It's not because of the person I'm with, right? Do you know when couples sit and watch telly together for hours on end? I can't do that. I think that is the boldest thing ever.
It's definitely rooted in to when me and Gillian were younger, because what do you do when you're like 18, 19?
You've not really got anywhere to go.
But we do. We watch. We put stuff on TV, but
do you watch it?
It's just for the sake of it. Like, I even last night I get caught up
for the sake of it,
No, but but
that's the only time I like this. This show's a filter. What was happening in that?
Don't even know. Like, we're watching Power, and when you're caught up in a season, you kind of, I don't know, it definitely catches you, and you're like, well, I want to know what happens. But after that, I'm like, that was such a waste of time. What did I get from that? But it's something I want to do less and less of. One of the best things we done when we got our house was not put a TV in the bedroom.
I don't have a TV in my bedroom either.
And I said to Gillian, I wanted one. So
right.
I like waking up in the morning and going, just stick something on the TV.
It's no good, man.
Chill in bed all day. And a lot of people do that. Like, we used to do that a lot when we lived in Nottingham. And it's funny because we'll watch something on the iPad in the bedroom. And it's like, what are we doing? We tiny screen. Like, move your arm, I can't see. But I'm glad we done that.
Aye, did you see like that? Jay Shetty just said it's no an actual connecting thing to do that with your partner. You don't actually connect.
No, you're right. It's one of the worst dates I could have took Gillian on for our first date was the cinema.
Aye.
But I'm glad I did, because she said 3 words to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and
okay,
she was only going to ever say 3 words to you.
So this makes it less awkward and you start to warm up a wee bit. So, but then again, like, there is things that I watch and I'm like, yeah, that was class. Like, I was saying to you, Attack on Titan.
Were you drinking at the weekend?
So I had 2 drinks, which
That's
is interesting
why you
enough.
said that last night.
No, because so for this episode, we wanted to talk about alcohol and the effects on the body, brain, and overall to your health and fitness. Now, I said to James, do a bit of research. I'll do a bit of research. Let's not speak about it, and let's just come on a podcast and talk about our findings with it, because I think it'll be interesting to hear your take on it, my take on it. We've probably had different environments growing up, I would imagine, from like friends and social circles and that sort of stuff. So I spoke before that I didn't really drink.
I didn't drink until I was 17.
So I didn't drink at all. Like, I never get caught up in
No.
the partying world, which is why I've not messed about with drugs as much and
Aye.
all this sort of stuff. So I never got caught into that. Again, meeting Gillian really early on, it's kind of no point.
Helps.
I always wind Gillian up with this because she, like typical girls, they all went out and partied and all, but I was a gamer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I pulled you out of that. I was like, your life would have been miserable. I was like, that's because of me. She's like, shut
How
up,
do you
that's
think you
not.
got on so well then, back then?
So I think,
Because that's such a difference, right? Because now it's different if you're
Oh, for
older,
sure. Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's even more
Aye.
different when you're younger.
I think, I couldn't honestly tell you, mate. I think,
But
so when we met,
eh?
so when we met,
That
Gillian was
charisma.
Gillian was at uni, and I was this jacked, handsome young man. Of course, he was
Were you
good.
jacked at that time?
I thought I was. I'll show you some pictures.
But right, so even
To the average 18-year-old,
aye.
you could tell I lifted.
Right. I know.
'Cause
That's Jack. Because I remember my mate, and we always go, "Wow!" And pictures, you're like, "Fucking hell, man, this cunt's Jack." And then you look back and you go,
It's tiny.
"He's way smaller than we are now."
I remember like some of the first pictures when we would go out for dinner. Me and Gillian, she'd take a picture of me, and I'm like, "Get my arm in."
Oh, I know.
See Jay Burns, any Jay Burns' pictures.
Aye.
Tenses like that. That was me. And
It's like,
so I
You wee short t-shirt, and you to get the arm round.
remember the V-necks. The
Aye,
coloured
I
V-necks?
didn't wear the V-necks
That
to be
was
fair,
me.
but I know that was
me.
you.
So when I met Gillian, I was already established in a gym routine. Went to the gym 5 days a week consistently, sometimes 6 days with Ross. That was just something that we both done.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to change that routine for any girl. It was something that I guess subconsciously I was like, it's just what I do. And I know that Gillian would ever want me to change that, but I think drinking and nights out, it's few and far between. You know what I mean? It's not going to. That's going to impact that. It's not. I'm not going to have time for that. But me and Gillian, we go out every Wednesday in a date night, and I forget this because I've lived with Gillian for the last 7 years, 8 years.
Aye.
But I forget you wouldn't see each other on a daily basis. So you know what I mean. So
Aye.
like we've been in that world for a long time, and honestly, I don't know what it was. So I still went out with her friends and that when there was something on, but my friends, there was never a drinking occasion.
No.
So I think because the only time that we went out and drank back in the day was for her friend's birthday, or somebody was going out the weekend, they wanted to do something, or Christmas, New Year.
Aye.
I think she started, because we hung about, we didn't hang about and drink. We hung about and went to the cinema, went out for food. There wasn't for drinking.
Which I think's personally
Aye,
better.
that's what I mean. So
Like, I think you go on a date, we drink, it's fun, it is fun, but see when you wake up rough, do you really know? I always, like, I look back now and I go, did we really go on that well, or was it just a drink?
yeah,
Do you know that way?
Yeah.
Like, you have a lot of fun, like, you do, you get blutter, you have a laugh, like, you do have that little bit more fun, but the fun evaporates the days after, and then the days after that, and then like that's all you can really do with each other.
The one good thing, that one of the first nights out, me and Gillian. So I say this in a month after me and Gillian going out with each other, we had Halloween and went to the Arches.
You went to the Arches?
Aye, we went to the Arches. So she apparently got spiked. I think she had too much to drink, but there's a whole debate around this. But nevertheless, it was fucked, right? It was
a fucked night.
We were all. I didn't have as much to drink, I don't think, because I was still pretty, I don't know,
You weren't that kind of
cognitively
guy.
aware. Because we were all getting a taxi home. She couldn't walk and things like that, so we set them hard. But then the taxi driver wouldn't take us because we had like 6 stops. Drop my friends off, and we were the last stop. And the guy's like, I'm not taking you. So I had to walk like 1.5 miles home. Have I told this before? No.
Aye.
So dressed as a zombie. This is the one where I was dressed
The
as a
blood and all
vampire.
that. Aye.
Blood on me. Taxi
And the
drives by,
police came.
stops, look at me, and then next minute the police pull me and then take me to Jill's house. So I think that was maybe the experience that Gillian went through, and she's like, fuck this, man. I don't want to expose. I couldn't tell you. I would need to ask her. But maybe that hadn't helped and hadn't played into it. It's not that we didn't drink after that, but the drinking definitely became few and far between.
Yeah.
Whereas I think single friends, you're going out, how is it you're meeting people, you're going out and drinking, it's clubbing and all that sort of stuff. So I think naturally you put it away. But I remember some dickheads that were in my year at school met Gillian, and they obviously fancied her, right? I'm not fucking stupid.
Aye.
But back in the day, and this still infuriates me to this day, where they met her at Tesco. So I've not seen you at the Soul Sweet and Edges. And they said to her, it's like, aye, that deal's got you chained. And I said, to this day, I think I'll still punch them if I see them. And that was 9 years ago.
Aye, I'm
And
that kind of man.
I fucking hate that.
I'm that kind of guy.
I was like, you pervy bastards. I was like, just because she's changed her life, right? Jealous cunt. So that's mad that that's still in, Matt. Like,
I think all guys are jealous to a degree.
They are.
And whether they hide it well or not.
No, I know. So, alcohol. Today's podcast, before we even get into this this isn't judgment. This isn't to fucking demonise drinking. Well, I'm not going to come at it from that point of view. It'll be interesting to see your thoughts on it.
I'm just going to be honest.
I think
going to be honest.
As
someone who I've never actually been a massive drinker, but took a lot of drugs, and you would usually drink when you take drugs to like to calm the effects, because drugs can be like quite heavy. But it's not about demonising it. Like, I think growing up, everybody knows. I don't really think this is that good for me.
I think we want to bring some awareness to it, and we're not here to tell you what to do or what not to do. I think you just need to listen to us. Probably, I think we're going to debate on a couple of things here, going back and forth on a couple of things. If we agree, all you're doing with that information as you listen to us is taking that away. And like we say before, it's not listen to our word and go, oh my God, they're right, we need to start doing this. It's going, maybe there is something to that. Let me try this for myself and come to your own conclusion.
Yeah.
That is the best thing you can do. And I'm going to speak to experience, not just the research says this. Like I think we've both got very interesting experiences with family and what we've been exposed to growing up. And I don't think we're alone with that. More and more people I meet,
Loads.
I think our parents' generation, alcohol is more accepted than where we are. I don't know about the next generation coming up. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But cultural, like for society, for football, for any sport.
I don't think it will ever change.
No, this is what I was. This is what I'm going. Yeah, because for social occasions, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a party, whether it's a celebration, a sporting event, drinking is mainly the source of how you go about celebrating that or enjoying that time.
Yeah.
So getting into it then, from what you were looking at, where would you even start with this?
Mate, I just wrote loads of points down. That says I'll just speak about them as we
just
go.
Blah 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 blah.
Aye.
Throw shit out to the world and see what sticks. See, before we even start, man, I need to put some sunglasses on. You're popping. Like, you're popping.
So there's fucking loads you can get into. Let's go into our experiences with.
Yeah, I think starting there. So
aye.
I don't want to watch what I'm saying, but definitely growing up, I've grew up in a household where parents definitely consumed a lot more alcohol, and grandparents as well. Sadly, I don't have any grandparents that are alive. I have a vivid memory of when I was about 6 years old of my dad's dad, my grandpa. He passed away from like mad stomach cancer, and that was drinking. He actually broke out, this is a mad story, in Blantyre. He broke out the hospital in his gown and went to a pub and managed to get served a pint. It's just mad, right? So the whole environment side of things definitely plays its part, and I can't even imagine what would have led, like, drinking with no technology, no sense of dopamine release.
Yeah.
The only kind of way that we're getting that is alcohol.
Aye.
There's no, like, even for like a grandparents' generation, there's no war, right?
Aye.
So the kind of living crisis, like, technology
very
is starting
boring
to advance. Aye, like, you look back at it and you look at it, like, see, like, Back to the Future, and I know this is a film, but when they go back, it's like, man,
they never did any gyms.
That's fucking...
They never did any today.
I think gyms were few and far between, but the whole culture of society was just starting to grow, and technology's allowed us to advance through that. So, so not making an excuse, but that definitely... Early on, seeing my mum smoke, for example, I was like, I'm never smoking.
Yeah.
And then seeing what drink done to the relationships, it put this whole negative connotation on alcohol for me right from the start.
It's so funny, right? I remember as a wee guy, I said, I'll never drink. Like, day when you're young, you're like, I will never. And I don't know what changes, but everybody just goes, I'm going to drink.
I think it's peer pressure. And I think there is a feeling, because we're all human beings, right? We say one of the biggest things you can do to not even sell to someone, but if you want someone to buy our business, if we connect to them on a deeper level, on an emotional level, and be empathetic and human beings, like without even trying to sell to that person, they'll want to work with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's not right for all the time. So I think that part, the emotional part that goes into just human behaviour, you see everyone drinking, and if you don't straight away,
FOMO.
what's the question? It's
What's
why
wrong
not?
with me?
Aye, how come?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, pussy.
Aye.
Look at you. Aye. So there's this whole pressure
Yeah.
when people start drinking to drink.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, when that pressure came about, I went camping, and we all dog school and went camping once, and that was my first time exposed to it. But I was a gamer, and I was like, man,
That's a shite. I want to play games. I'd
no,
rather
it
be
wasn't
watching.
even. Well, that's a lie, because I was like, that was fun, it was enjoyable. But then see how fucking shit I felt afterwards. I was like,
What's the point?
I didn't really enjoy that much. And the only time we were going to do that was to go camping again. And that circle of friends I wasn't very close with. Like my
Yeah.
circle of friends we liked just gaming and playing Hunt the Cunt in a graveyard. If you remember, if for you who knows what that is, that was it. That was my circle of friends. So this is where I'll struggle with raising kids, because it's a gamble. Who do they become friends with in high school? You know what I mean? I don't think you cannot control that. I don't care what you say.
I don't know. You can't control it to a point. But you control it. The way you bring them up, who they be friends with, will have an impact on them.
Yeah,
They'll meet people and they go, I don't like them. Do you know what I mean? If you raise them as well as you can, they'll go, I don't fucking like them. They're no good for me.
well, that's what you've got the power to control. Like here's how
kids,
you spot a decent character. And stuff
it's
like
no
that.
like, by the way, don't be friends with them. It's how you bring them up, and then they go into school and go, he's a wee dick or she's a wee dick. Do you know what I mean? And they can spot that and go, I don't like this energy for this person.
Yeah. So I never noticed it at the time, but see, asking me now, because I'm more aware of my health and fitness, and I know relationships and social occasion is a big part of that. I look back at my life and I'm like, wow, that did actually affect me, and I didn't realise it did at the time.
So what affected you?
Like with parents and mum and dad splitting up, and then
Aye.
mum and stepdad getting together, and then them splitting up, and it was all based around drink.
Yeah.
And I do feel for my mum sometimes, because what sent her down in was my granddad dying, her dad dying, like my last grandparent, and she was looking after him, and my stepdad was wealthy enough where she didn't have to work.
Yeah.
And that just no purpose other than she's going to see that, and then her dad dying. I don't know, like you forget that our mums and dads have mums and dads, and what
It's
they're
the same.
feeling is what we're feeling. You know,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, they
Fuck
fucked
them.
it. Aye, they fucked
Fuck
us
them.
up. That's our mum and dad, but their mums and dads have fucked them up. And
Yeah.
in a way, they've going to be traits and stuff that's been passed down to them. And saying that, it's hard, isn't it? But seeing that firsthand was very
Damaging.
toxic, very toxic. And also seeing actually my stepdad's dad, I don't know if he's still alive, so I haven't spoke to my stepdad in years, but he was drunk 24/7.
Yeah.
He would work drunk.
Aye.
And
They get to that point where
they're just constantly doing it.
Mhm.
So I had a negative outlook on drink right from the start. But like you said, you're like, I'm not going to drink, and then you start getting your own. You become an adult. You're 18, and you start doing your own thing. And any 18-year-old, you're not going to not drink. I don't care what you say. You're not going to not drink, right?
No.
There's that pressure
there's
to
1%
drink. Aye.
who won't.
And I met him. I met one of them because I used to work alongside him. He had a heart condition,
So you could.
and I always remember he was like, oh, he went to not the Archies. It was like it's in Sucky Street. I don't think it's a club anymore. Is it ABC or something like that? Or
Aye, the Jelly Baby.
aye, so I don't think that's a thing anymore. But
Aye,
whatever
no,
that
it
was,
burnt down.
so he used to go to that every Thursday night. And I used to, because we worked together, we were like the two apprentices, the fucking guys that shoveling the shit and all that, same age, and I was like, I can't believe like you drive to this, drop all your pals off, you have a night out with your friends, you just don't drink, and you come back to it. He's like, I can't, I've got a hole in my heart, like I'll die, with that stress on me. Now, well, there's a powerful reason not to drink, right?
Aye.
But to see, he was the first person that I've came across in life at this point
Who hadn't
drank, which was to me at the time. It was like, man, that's mad that you can do that. But now, actually looking back, I'm like, that's well fascinating that the willpower and stuff like that, even with that pressure. But I guess if you're saying to your friends, look, I'll die if I drink.
And they go, cool.
They're going to go,
right,
oh, you shite bag, come on.
yeah.
So I guess, and that probably plays into, like, you don't realise it, but your circle of friends at that point probably will change. And it'd be great to, like, have an understanding at the age of 18 that you want to have a powerful circle of friends who respect you. So if you say no, they're like, right, cool, done. But that's never going to happen at that point.
Nah.
Because you're wee guys.
No chance. They'll be like, you fucking gimp. You fucking poof.
I know.
That's what used to be used. I'm not saying that now, but that's the...
It was. That
that's
was
the
a line.
terminology
You're right. And there was that pressure. But do you actually think you could say to somebody who's 16 and looking for their friend circles and all that?
No. No in Scotland.
You don't think so?
Nah. You would need a full group of people no doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they would get all bullied together. No, but it's truth.
Yeah, but they'll be stronger than everybody, so they can fight back at least.
Very, very few. Very few.
What about yours then? So what do you think led you to go, I'm no drinking? Like, why was that a thought?
I didn't like how drink made me feel, to be fair, over the years. But I also seen it how it destroyed lives, like firsthand. Like, I grew up in a household with two people who went to AA and one person who didn't go to AA who probably should have.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a household with 3 people and 3 alcoholics.
Yeah.
And my dad's dad is an alcoholic and my mum's dad is an alcoholic. So I know firsthand how drink destroys people, and I've seen it. And I know people who tell me, I don't really like drinking. Well, why the fuck do you drink?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Which I want to get into.
Why the fuck
Well, I want
do
to
you
get
drink?
into the psychology behind it, because I done a fair bit of research on the opposing argument to drink.
Yeah.
Which I can understand it, and I think it's a interesting question, because people will look at us and go, why do you no drink?
Aye.
And it's like, no, why do you drink?
Aye.
Like, really, that's the question.
Aye.
I
think if you look at everything, if you looked at everything on paper and you looked at the pros of drinking, the cons of drinking, you would probably have to ask yourself, why do I drink as much as I do? Do you get me? And there is reasons to drink, and I don't actually deny that. For me, as a confident person, since I got actually gained confidence to speak out and go out and actually be in a social environment where you can just be yourself,
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people struggle with, is just being themselves.
Yeah.
In general, not even with drink, just in general. Like, people are so inauthentic, and it's not the fact that they try and be. It's just like, as you grow up, society norms as a 16-year-old is you go to do this, you go to do this. And like, growing up with that, I think it makes it easier for me to stay off drinking. I'll admit that. Like, growing up in that household, I see like my nieces and that, and I go, I don't, like, that's the only closest like kids I have to me. And it always reminds me, I will never let my kids grow up anything close. Not even just a slight difference, anything close to how I was brought up.
Yeah.
Do you know that way? Never.
No, it does fuck you up. More so than I think you realise. It plays a big part in where my relationships are with my family today. And like you said, thousands and thousands of pounds were spent on going through this course. It wasn't Alcohol Anonymous, but it was like in Nuffield, where she stayed there for a whole 12 weeks.
Like
a proper rehab. And the whole point of going to that was because knew there was a problem. Drink driving, fucking just drunk all the time, and then pressure on the relationship, and then pressure on arguments with us as kids. And then I'll never forget, one day out, straight back to it. And that's how you know it's and people are like, no, I don't have a problem. Like, I think we need to accept, not have judgment against that. Okay, it's an addictive poison that you're putting in your body. And if to me, actually doing some of the research on this, pretty fascinating. Like, some of these statistics of what it does to your overall health. It's like, fuck me. Like, Dad didn't really think about it that way.
Everything.
It's like, but then on the other hand, so let's talk about the occasions where you have drank. Where, like, what's been the reasons that you've found it?
Just going out with my mates and just drinking.
You done it in relationships?
See, after listening to research, I understand why I don't drink, because it makes me go sleepy and not enjoy it.
Right.
I'm
you get that benefit.
I fucking don't like the sleepiness.
Yeah.
I hate being sleepy. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, thank God when I was listening to the stuff, which we'll speak about soon, I'm like, drink doesn't make me feel good. And that's how a lot of people end up no drinking, because it makes them feel that way.
Me and Gillian's always felt like a wee bit of an outsider when we had some really good friends in Nottingham, and we met up with them and they would just drink constantly. It's like, let's go for it. I was like, I actually don't want to hang out with them.
Aye.
Because I can't be bothered drinking.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we ended up on that page. I think maybe again because just what we've been raised upon, the environment that we've been exposed to, and it was like, really don't like the feeling of being drunk the next day. Like
I don't even really enjoy being drunk that much.
Oh, so I say that, and I've been in some states, right?
Aye,
say that
we've all been there, man.
But I've also had some amazing nights.
Oh, fuck,
and that's played as part of being drunk and
I've
having alcohol.
had some amazing nights on coke, on ket,
yeah,
on MDMA, and that's been genuinely serious. You'll have amazing nights on these things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye, so this is where the striking the balance of what is good for you and what isn't. Like, arguably, is that good on your health? Probably not. But this is where there is a social part that you need to accept. If you're then the person who then goes, I'm not drinking, and then doesn't see anyone, and then starts becoming very inwards and doesn't go out and socialise at all.
They call that a dry drunk.
Aye, so we know that the effect on your health of that is just as bad as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Yeah. Right? That study is
sheer loneliness.
So that's not a good route to go down. And I think understanding, like, right, why is that the case, and why would you need drink is somewhere to start.
Aye. If you, here's an opinion I have. If you enjoy these occasions when you're drinking, you will enjoy them sober. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason you enjoy that wherever you're going. If you like raves, if you go to a rave sober, you'll still enjoy it. No right away though, because there's implications to coming off drinking drugs that will change your view in the world. Do you know what I mean? But if you go to golf, you'll enjoy it sober. Do you know what I mean? If you go, I fucking want to go and drink and go to golf, you'll like the drink aspect, but you'll probably still really enjoy the golf. You'll probably still really enjoy the rave, because people will go, right, rave, drink, drugs, right? Has to be that way. Go to a bar, has to drink. Go to golf, has to drink. I'm not saying everybody goes to golf, drinks, but it's a vast majority go, right, we're going to have a pint after the golf. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it needs to be that way. And then you can enjoy it more than you would have before.
So I remember one of my mates starting to go, I'm not drinking anymore. And it did put a buzzkill on us when we were all...
I know for a fact, because I don't drink, it puts a buzzkill on my mates.
Yeah, so this is where I don't know what the answer is to it, but I know when... But
I genuinely now I see it as a them problem, because I've actually been out with them, and I've been, right, what I go here, what I go here, what I do this, and they go, no. And I seen it firsthand that drink doesn't make you more lively as a sober person sitting in the room.
But the people that have it, so this is where I think it's person dependent. So the person who decided they weren't going to drink then came out of that after about a year or two and started drinking a wee bit more, and we'd still go on the same nights out. And I remember going, like, this is my best mate, and I'm like, we're actually, like, we don't really talk like this. This is actually good to like have a deeper into conversation about this, but that would never happen if he wasn't on the drink. So this is where, like, it became like he would come to these things no drink, but he would actually be a buzzkill. Like, it'd be like, why have you even chose to come when you're sitting there fucking miserable? I actually remember at New Year when we had people around. It was New Year celebration standard, and thinking about that, it's like, didn't quite understand it, but maybe there was a pressure on him. It was like, look here, why do you not have a drink? So I don't want to. And we wouldn't accept that as an answer, so then he was getting annoyed, and then that just became a whole fucking real buzzkill. So, man, you're bright sucking the life out of this party. And I think you need to understand that as well, because there is people, see this whole, there's definitely a movement out there of 30 days without drinking, 60 days, or a year without drinking. And it's like, man, like, you can tell you're the buzzkill of what that is because of the way that they're going about it. You know what I mean? So
I don't even know when I stopped. It was sometime in February. I don't know what day. I just hadn't drank in like a month, and I went, I'm not going to go back. I don't think. I don't think I'm going to actually really drink again. I says I might, but I don't know how long it'll be. It's like 10 months now. Do you know what I mean? I don't really, especially after hearing that, I go, for me, I'm not the buzzkill. Do you know what I mean? My mate was texting my other mate, and he was like, is that fucking James drinking yet? And he's like, no, but he's the fucking one that wants to go fucking everywhere. And he's like, what? He's like, I know, he's fucking up and gone. And I was like, that's just because I've learned that you can be the same. And like, this is what I've had this conversation. I've had this. Oh, what are you taking? Like, mate, I'm driving. I'm sober. No way. Can't act like that sober. I'm like, but you can, but it's frowned upon. Do you get me? It's actually frowned to act the way you would drunk sober. People go, how can you act like that drunk? You're a weirdo. And I'm like, but so you can ingest some alcohol and act like that, and you're no weirdo. Now that's where it gets skewed to me. So I go, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna fucking go up on karaoke stone cold sober. I don't give a single fuck.
So this is where the interesting thing of alcohol, like what that does within your brain, you're then faced with the decision of, man, everyone's going to be looking at me.
Yeah.
And that signal's just blunted completely. Because I'm a dancer, man. I shuffle my feet. I'm like, woo. I'm like, I'm
feeling myself.
I'm such a good dancer. And then some stupid idiot's taking a video and then I see it and I'm like, oh, it's the ick.
Think that's ick?
No, of me. No, me.
I love it. When I watch it, I'm like, go big man.
No, because in my head I was like, I'm Step Up fucking movies.
Aye.
I'm way off tune, man. Like, but this is what I mean. Like, that's where you're no exposing you're no getting to that point in that situation, and a lot of people don't have that confidence. And I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know what you would call it. Maybe it is confidence, but to open up, and whether it's conversation when speaking or open up and go, nah, I'm going to dance and shuffle about. Because I've been sober and I'm no the type of guy who like dance and singing that being sober. And I've been like, and I'm trying and I'm really trying. And I'm like, this is cringy, man.
I can't, so it wasn't on that podcast. It was on another one with Andrew Huberman. And he says, look, see if you want to do things like that, you need to learn it. And it's like, once you're past it, and I remember getting past it and I go, fuck, he's actually right. I feel drunk. Like, I feel the endorphin rush as if I'm drunk, but I'm not. I'm just sober. And once you get past that point, the rest of the night, you feel like you're on the same wavelength as your pals. You're in there, you're chatting, you're like, blah, 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 blah. You're dancing. You're not giving a fuck as much. And you're like, this is so fucking weird to feel like this. And then you generally can't sleep the same either. Like, you're like, I'm hyped. I'm hyped, I'm drunk. And you're like, there is a way to click into your mind because it's that barrier. And it's like, what he explains it like is like, you need to look at yourself from outside and go, well, how am I actually acting here? And you'll go, fuck, you're acting like a wee bit weird.
Funny.
Aye. You're sitting there like, oh, what are you doing? If you look at yourself from the outside, you go fucking go. Because then if you look at yourself from the outside, you see everybody else. And they're all chatting away, they're all dancing, they're all doing their own thing. You go, I'm actually the odd one out not doing this. But you think if I start dancing and I start singing, then I'll be the odd one out because they're sober. But then you look at everybody else and they're not giving a fuck.
True. People don't care nights. You're right. People not gonna go, did you see that guy in the fucking orange t-shirt just no drinking and just dancing?
But they won't even know you're not drinking.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because they're intoxicated. So so moving on then for experience, what was the reason that you then was like, nah, that's me done with it for a while?
I hate the hangovers. I also don't really like it in a relationship too much. I don't like...
if it's the main crux of how you have to connect.
Aye. I don't like the first date is going out for drinks. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that might sound daft to people, but I'm not like that anymore. I've really changed my views on a lot of things, and I find connecting with people sober is so fucking nice. Do you know that way?
It's different.
Aye, it's so different.
Aye, it's different.
Like, if you sit and you're open and you're honest with somebody sober, fuck man, you leave that conversation, you're like, you feel it deep. You feel it in your soul, as I would say. You have a conversation with somebody drunk, you feel it at the time, but I think you wake up and you go...
So, are you for a couple of drinks?
For me, no.
No, I mean at all, from what you were looking at?
No.
No?
To be honest with you, no. Like, I'm I don't really. What's the point in a couple of drinks? A lot of people will tell you, right? What does a couple of drinks do? And they're right. It doesn't really do much.
So I have a couple of drinks now. Like, that's probably what I do.
Aye.
So the weekend there, one of Jill's friends' 30th, we were out at Cut, and I was like, I'll have a wee Jack Daniels and Diet Coke.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, why am I doing that? And I actually grew to like the taste of that, believe it or not, as well. And that was it. That was all I had. And I didn't feel any different from it, but at the same time, I could feel something. So I was like, this is definitely done something where maybe a wee bit more lively, a wee bit more hyped.
Yeah.
And it's not that I need it. I definitely don't. I don't think
I
I need
know
it.
that for a fact.
I definitely don't think I need it, but I don't know what it is. Like, I've been out with the same group of friends, and like, like, I'm just known as the person who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
So when I do drink, you're drinking? So I'm just having one.
Aye.
And that's it. It's like almost respected at that point. But it definitely does something to help with the flowing conversation with a lot of people. I can see that firsthand. And so like me and Gillian have had drinks. Like, if we went out a date night, we've had one or two, and that's it. Never went by like two. And that's like few and far between as well. That's like once every 2 months if we're lucky. So I don't know if that's where it maybe works on that sense. It's not needed. It's just part of the.
How many people can do that though?
Aye, it's just part of the experience for us. It's okay, right, this is date
Feels
night.
nice.
Aye, we're having a dinner. Try a nice cocktail or try a whiskey or whatever, and that's it.
Aye.
That is generally what it is. But looking at the stats on it, it's like, man, where do you draw the line? Is that worth the trade off now? And I still am not convinced that I'll go totally teetotal.
Yeah.
I understand why people do, but see, for me, I look at even seeing those statistics, I'm like, to me, I think I'm working on other things with my health and fitness that it's not going to impact me.
There's a very fine line we go with teetotal where it becomes an unhealthy habit.
And this is what I see with these guys that are teetotal just now. It's like they're no seeing any of their friends. They're patronising.
Aye.
The people who are drinking, and it's like, you were just that guy a year ago, right? So
yes, don't forget who you were.
Aye, so
do you know what I mean?
And this is what I want for you guys that are listening. Like, there is no judgment with this at all. If you're someone who does drink on a weekly basis, every weekend it comes up, like, you just have to, if that works for you just now, then cool. But I think after today, they shine a wee bit more light on other things to consider and what we go into next. So see that light there? Just turn that, because that shit, your face is like purple. So what was some of the things then that was the most eye-opening to you?
The first things were, it makes you more stressed when you're not drinking. And if you're already chronically stressed, that's where like the anxiety comes in. Yeah. And that's why you're so
fascinating.
And you're so fucking anxious after you drink.
And I can speak firsthand to this because of the people in my life that I see. They are very highly stressed individuals.
And then they'll drink and make it worse.
They drink and think it makes them feel better.
Right,
but see, when they're sober, they're even more stressed because they need that outlet of drinking. Yeah. And this is where you go down the rabbit hole where you become an alcoholic, because
this is it.
You need that as the outlet, and it becomes at 11 o'clock in the morning, at 12 o'clock. Now, to me, that was like quite fascinating to see and hear the research on that of when you drink. Most people drink a wee glass of wine or a beer, so I'm just de-stressing, right? But what actually happens is you get that initial response cognitively of the wee dopamine, feel a wee bit better.
Yeah.
The next time you come to do it, you're like, feel a wee bit better. But then your body learns, and your body has a memory of what that feeling is, and then it seeks out that feeling more. So then when you're not drinking, you're even more stressed, and it forces you to drink that. And then the other side of it doesn't work as much. So you then become more highly stressed drinking. Yeah. And it may change your behaviour, but you're more stressed. Yeah. Now, what do we know with stress, right? It affects our sleep. Mm-hmm. And if it affects our sleep, like, we could go do a whole episode and just sleep alone.
It's a domino effect.
Aye, it's not the alcohol itself. Aye. It's the impact of the other things that it leads onto. That to me was like, it's no saying you can't drink. It's no saying you can't do any of this. It's going, right, if we know something's going to affect one of these big pillars like stress and sleep, that's the impact to our health. Aye, no fitness. That's the impact to our health.
So when I was listening to that, I know that's a reason why I don't drink, because I know it affects my sleep. And I go,
that's too important.
Well, it's too important for me. I don't sleep that well as it is.
Yeah.
I know that. So for me, I think it would be silly to even put anything at risk of that. To have a couple of drinks for what? For me, there's no point. And I'm not saying for everybody. Like, I understand that some people can go home and feel all right the next day. And this is where I would challenge people. Do you feel all right, or do you feel I can get through the day? Do you get me?
I think so. If you use me as a scenario, like the one drink,
But that's genuine. There's no many people no drink at all. But there's there's like 1% no drinking, right? And then there's about 5% having one or two.
So, but what the point I want to make is, if I had done that on a weekly basis, I think that would affect more. So I remember More Plates, More Dates talking about steroids this way. And he says everybody's got a biological shelf life of how much they can handle, right? So if you ramp it up at the start, you hit that shelf life sooner. And I think it's the same with alcohol. I think we've all got a shelf life of tolerance of what we can do. Say it's 100 drinks. If I spread those 100 drinks over a 10-year period, then I'm going to get away with it a wee bit longer into life. Whereas if you use that consumption within the first 6 months, then you start feeling every drink harder and harder and harder. So maybe that's as to why you're right. It's few and far between.
Yeah.
And that's built into my behaviours now, like where I'll say yes to a drink and I'll also say no to a drink. It'll really just depend on the feeling. Now, I think that's where people using it as a place to kind of de-stress is pretty valuable. If you know you can just do that once in a blue moon, yeah, cool. Like have it as a method towards that.
I would never use it as a method to de-stress.
De-stress in the sense of, say,
let the hair down.
You're working 25 days straight and you know you've got a date night coming up. So this is how I would use it, right? And I know I'm going into that date night and I'm thinking about everything else. Now I'll challenge myself on one of the date nights to go, you know what, I'm not going to have a drink because I need to have the ability to do this.
Yeah.
But also on other ones, it's like, right, okay, I'm going to have a drink because I can see, I do feel a response when I have that. I'm like, right, cool. I'm definitely a bit more relaxed. But what I don't get into the cycle of using that as a, like you said, as a
coping mechanism.
So to me that was the stress and the sleep component. Sleep is another one which is fascinating because you think you're getting deep sleep because it puts you to sleep, like you said, it makes you sleepy.
Yeah.
But you don't get the REM sleep. You don't get into that vivid dream. Some people have mad dreams, but it's no the REM sleep cycle, if that makes sense.
It's no that. It affects every sleep cycle. It affects it. So you've got REM, light, core, deep, and did I say them all?
That's four.
That's
four.
four.
I was going to say,
I couldn't even remember what I said there, but it affects them all.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, you're like, is it fucking worth it?
Aye. Now,
but a lot of people don't really see their sleep as that big a deal, right? They just see that, and that's the thing that I've said, like a lot of people probably should look into it a little bit more. But a lot of people don't know the feeling of actually feeling that good during the day. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't. They get up and they slog it and they get up and they get ready and they go, I need to go to work. And then they're through work and they go, right, I get to go home, thank God. I get to sit and I get to chill, or I need to look after the veins, and then you go to bed and you go, fuck, I'm quite tired.
Yeah, and this is where coping I can't even say the word now.
I know.
Coping mechanisms for whatever it is, drugs, alcohol, the gym, whatever it is that you're using. There's some obviously healthier ones than others, but if you're not confronting the problem, you're making the situation worse.
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of people with alcohol, with their friends group, they realise that I don't actually like these people I hang about with, but to get through the night, I need to have a drink.
Yeah.
That to me is the most worrying thing to your health. It's not the alcohol that's damaging that. It's like
you don't even like your friends.
And that's sad as well. And that's why I think communities for personal trainers is some of the most powerful things we can build, because very rarely you start going to these nights out and you're like, man, I have nothing in common with these people.
Aye.
And I think guys, we can get away with more because we can be in common with anything. Aye. Do I get an erection this morning? Oh, me too. It's just lad talk. I think for women, definitely more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely more challenging. Now, women and men will react differently to drink as well, which you also need to consider. Hormonally, we have a pretty static hormonal profile, right? For women, that fluctuates throughout the month.
Aye.
And timing of your drink is something to potentially consider. If you do want to enjoy a bit of alcohol, you probably want to think about like doing that around your period and stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably a very interesting subject to talk about with Louise, getting her back on the podcast on how that affects menopause and how that affects your menstrual cycle and stuff like that.
Big time.
So save a wee note for that.
Aye.
So what else did you have?
Because obviously I grew up with alcoholics, I like the bit about alcoholics, and I like the bit about like blacking out and how alcoholism is like a gene or genes, an addition of genes together,
programmed in,
and it makes sense. So, and when it was like, so we've obviously listened to a couple of podcasts, read some of the studies and that. So, well, it's no opinion what we're saying, but you would need to look at if whatever we are saying now is like we've listened to somebody else and we've agreed that we think they're correct. Is that right?
Yeah, their biases is spoke to the situations that we know firsthand. Aye. Like I said, been kind of brought up in households of a lot of alcohol consumption. Mm-hmm. Somewhat this just being outright totally like alcoholic. And
so there's two types of people when you drink. There's the people who feel sleepy, and there's the people who actually feel more awake. You know, I was like, people feel more awake when they drink.
That's me.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, depending on the mood, because I've been like...
Depends how tired you are.
Aye, so see my stag do?
Yeah.
See the second day, we drank a lot on the first night. Day. Everybody fucked it. We got up, done activities and that. And I wanted to go to sleep in the middle of the day. And all the guys were like annoyed at me because they all went out. And I went for like a wee midday nap. So I arrived and I was like, right, I'll buy everybody shots. So I bought like 12 shots for everyone. And my mate was that annoyed with me, Dale. And he's like, no drink that. Says, I'm actually no speaking to you. He's like, I'm actually pissed you've done that. And I was like, what would make it up? And he's like, if you take those 12 shots in a row. So I done 12 shots, bang, 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 bang. No whitey, nothing. Continued drinking every half an hour maybe at this point. Nothing. No response to me. Now, I think I want to actually speak about this. I didn't look into this. No, but I didn't. I definitely know as someone who has more muscle mass and consistently goes to the gym and doesn't drink as often and I've got 96 kilos, metabolizing alcohol, I do it faster than my friend group.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. When we went to Prague, I was literally legless in the place that we were drinking at, the cocktail place. And my mate went to take me home. And as soon as I came outside, I was like, I'm actually pretty sober now. I knew what I was doing. I was cognitive aware. He, who was meant to take me home, became legless. I was like, what the fuck happened there? He's, I think, maybe like 80 kilo, like definitely a lot lighter than me. So mass has its part to play on metabolizing the alcohol.
If you're a small, I see these small women who go, I can drink you under the table. That's not a good thing. That you can drink me under the table. That means you're so tolerant to alcohol that you drink that much.
Just a veteran.
Aye.
But so we were talking about the genes and the makeup. So I'm definitely someone as they drink, I can feel the hyperness, and maybe that's why I like the one from time to time.
Yeah.
Because there is a wee initial buzz. There's a wee hype with it.
Aye.
But I very rarely will I get sleepier.
But the thing is, and you'll know this, that's if you wake up when you drink. Like, you'll wake up after the first couple because that's just how it goes. But then after that, a lot of people would start to get really sleepy. But a lot of people stay awake. And I always wondered when I was at Gaffs and people didn't take drugs, I'm like, how are they staying up? And it's these people. And you are much more predisposed to be an alcoholic if it wakes you up.
Yeah.
And it keeps you up because you really like the feeling.
Well, that's what I mean.
It makes you feel really fucking good.
That's why we get addicted to anything.
Yeah,
because it's the dopamine rush.
It makes you so high.
Aye, it's the endorphins that you get. Oh man,
and it's actually mad that alcohol can make you that high because it doesn't. I genuinely never felt that.
So Mike Israel done a YouTube video just a couple of days ago on drink, and he has a 9-step point as to like what to do, like to help get stronger and muscle building, but still drink. And he's like, God invented weed for a reason. He's like, just if you're looking to get high, just smoke some weed rather than getting the buzz from that. Aye. So I don't know what I feel about that, but I guess, like we said, if you're back to the 18, 19, 20-year-old self, it's hard because everybody's sort of doing something if there's something that you want to do, but then again that can lead you down a different path.
And another thing, when I was like, fuck man, this generation's fucked, and the generation before, like a few generations before, if you start drinking before the age of 15, you're more predisposed to be an alcoholic straight away.
Yeah, so
it doesn't matter if there's alcoholics in your family, or like, it doesn't matter anything. If you drink before that age, like a considerable amount, then you are more predisposed to be an alcoholic as well.
Yeah, that to me that was fascinating, but that plays into the point that we've all got this kind of shelf life of what we can be immune to up to a certain point. And it makes sense. The earlier you drink, the earlier you do anything, the quicker that then hits.
Aye.
So one of the last kind of parts I want to talk about, and then we can get into like strategies and stuff.
Oh mate, I've got fucking loads.
I know. Well, you can shout them out as we're going into it. The chances and risk of cancer I want to talk about, because I didn't know it was this high.
Aye,
I honestly didn't realise it was high.
See, when I messaged you and you says I'll probably drink, I was like, I get
how can you after reading that?
I genuinely, if you listen to that part, right, and you've had anybody who's been affected by cancer at all, then I wouldn't say anything, but when I listened to it, I was like, why would I ever drink again?
Yeah. So the point that was the research was pretty fucking clear on this, that 4 to 13% increased chance of risk of cancer, particularly breast cancer as well.
Yep.
So, and this is per 8 grams of alcohol. Now, in terms of that converted into the normal alcoholic drink,
It's not a lot.
in the UK. So, in the UK, we're 14 grams per shot, right? Which is mad. So it's 98 calories as well. And we'll talk about the caloric side of things and that.
Aye.
So what the fuck? Like 4 to 13% per day per drink, right? So you're consistently sending a signal to. So every one of us ends up with these cancerous cells, and these cancerous cells, our body does.
Every single person. Has them.
Our body is such a fucking incredible machine, and we'll process them, clean them out, get them out of our system. This is why fasting, again, we still need to do the fucking fasting thing to see our experience of it. But fasting and cultures and things like that, fantastic thing to do, because it cleans those cells out. And this is why I'm saying, like, there's ways that I know I'll focus on my health and bringing this in. I know the other parts will outbalance this, but consistently drinking on a daily basis or a weekly basis, you're setting yourself.
You're
up
increasing
for
your risk of cancer.
Aye,
quite highly.
Aye, and this isn't woo-woo stuff like red meat
If you
and
have
stuff
10
like this.
pints at the weekend every single week, you increase your cancer rate by 100%.
Aye, so
And that doesn't mean you'll get cancer. It just means whatever rate it's grown, it just doubles it.
Aye, so
it doubles it.
Aye, and that to me is,
and that's only once a week if you're drinking once a week, 10 pints.
Aye, that's
which is a regular amount for
most people,
the average person.
Now it's like why and the bit I was like, fuck that. That's quite worrying. It's like the double effect. So our bodies, as we said, does this fantastic job of down regulating and cleaning out those cells. So alcohol slows that down, but it also
speeds up
so it's a double whammy.
Growth.
So it slows or stops that process from happening, and then it also feeds the cell and grows the cell.
Yep.
And this is where some studies will point to, like, red meat and protein increasing your risk of cancer because of mTOR, because it grows it grows the cells, but it grows everything else at the same time. Alcohol specifically grows that cancerous cell, that rogue cell that's in your body.
Yeah.
And just mad to think about when you have been affected with people in your family who've had it, and alcohol was a stress relief from them.
For them, aye.
Aye. And why is this not talked about more?
There's not many people who basically, and it doesn't mean that to say that I won't get cancer because I'm not drinking now. I can. Because it's still there. It's always there. There's always a risk. I just increase it if I drink. Yeah.
Now, where I would say this, because I do get your point when you were texting me about it and saying, like, why would you still choose to drink then if that's the case? Well,
I actually didn't say that to you because that's that's not a good. That's an unhealthy way to go about it.
I saying, I don't do it because of this.
But for me, I look at myself and ask that question to myself.
Yeah. And I think you need to make your own mind up with this. Where I come to the conclusion with this is, as much as I know that can increase the risk, I'm doing a lot of other things in my life. Majority of the time,
there's always things. There's loads of things
with my control, right? So I know for a fact having more muscle mass than the average person is going to increase my chances of survival rate if I touch wood if I get cancer, right?
Yep.
Right. Touch wood. I hope I don't get cancer.
Fuck knows.
So also including fasting, eating whole foods, so many things that's going to increase my chances of a longevity standpoint when it comes to life. So that to me outweighs doesn't excuse it, but allows me to make a decision there in that moment and go, am I going to have a drink this time? Am I going to miss this?
Yeah.
Honestly, this has been, of the year of age 30, this has been the least I've probably drank this year. And I've had two there's only 2 occasions where I went all out, and it's been Bongos Bingos and that Prague.
Aye.
And they were the only 2 times, and that was all centred around nights out. So
Yeah.
they're the only 2 times, and that's rare as we're coming up to the end of the year.
Aye.
And when I say the most and least I've ever drank, like if I think about the previous year,
It
my
wasn't that
stag
much.
do, my wedding, I don't even think I had much nights out, in all honesty. We drank on holiday, but I think there was maybe, in fact, I don't think there was a time where I was absolutely legless, because again, it's me and Jillian, that doesn't drive our relationship, if that makes sense. Made a fun when we were in Mexico, so we drank tequila every night and all that sort of stuff. So, but thinking back to that, it's like, what's the point now? It's like, why do like to that extent? But then as well, honeymoon celebrations, and that is tied around that. I almost feel like I contradict myself when I say that, but I don't know how else I would communicate that. I don't know how else.
And you've got to have fun though.
Yeah,
You've got to play. You've got to play.
So that's to me that was one of the more eye-opening ones that made me
that,
stop and think and go.
Whereas when I was listening to that, but like after everything else, I can understand why people would still drink. Like, yeah, increases this, increases that, but is that enough to put you off all the time? Not really.
So
then I heard that and I go, you know what? Like that for me, like, cause I'm pretty dialed in with everything now. And I go, if I was to have a drink, that would just put everything back.
Off, yeah.
Put everything back.
So here's where I think about you and hurting your knee just now, right? Very, very, well, no similar, but we know the importance of mobility, and until you get a serious injury, you don't really put as much emphasis as you would, because you'd be like, man, I wish I knew about this information before I'd done that. And this is why we want to do this episode, innit? Because most likely people will do a little bit with it and then kind of give in, but bring it to the forefront of your mind. But I guarantee you, I can probably tell you that if knowing this information and then getting diagnosed with the big C, you're probably going to be thinking to yourself, I wish I drank less. I wish I'd done this for my health. I wish I'd done. And this isn't kind of to talk about cancer.
This bit isn't even about just drink.
No,
that's about fucking doing everything for your
just
health.
Because it's probably another episode we do at a later date on just longevity.
Aye.
Because sadly, people, like, you ask anyone in their late 50s and 60s, and they're like, man, you need to take that trip to Australia, or you need to work away. I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. You don't want to be that person, man. Like, I don't want to live life in regret.
Fuck that.
And that's what brought me to the conclusion to quit my job. I was like, I will not live my life in regret.
No.
And that's why I'm a big advocate of health and fitness, big advocate of lifting weights, because I just know, regardless of how I'm feeling, as much as I don't have a goal of my fitness good just now, I still work out because I know what it's doing to my longevity.
Aye, for health.
And I'm playing that long game with it, playing the long game.
So one of the other things is it destroys your gut microbiome.
Aye. So your belly speaks to your brain speaks to your belly. There's a line of connection, and that's why we go, I can feel it in my gut.
And it kills the good bacteria, and it lets the bad bacteria out into your blood.
So and when you think about this, like, what was the antibacterial wipes made of? Alcohol. Right? I'll just wipe that, I'll get all the bad stuff.
That's exactly what it does in your belly.
Bad stuff and what do you call it? Germs, and
that's why you're sick.
All that sort of stuff.
That's why your shit's only good.
You can see kids who are brought up on farms. I think that there's a fascinating, what's the study called? I'll try and find it and send it to you. I remember it was just last month I was reading it, because like people say, dogs are minging. So people who have pets and have pets sleep in their bed from a young age, like kids who are brought up on farms, they follow them, compared them to someone who hasn't been exposed to animals, and their immune systems are hella stronger.
Because
they're exposed to dirt and all these fibrous things. And it's definitely something to be said to, like, playing out in the dirt and fucking all that sort of stuff, because our bodies are so fucking
resilient,
mad in terms of
they build resilience over
building
time.
Resilience in that. So those little fucking stress components, you might get sick when you're a kid, but that makes you more resilient to these things. But alcohol, like leaky gut syndrome, a lot of people will get that from drinking alcohol. Not the foods that you're having, it's the alcohol consumption that you're having, because of the breakdown of
you could eat the best
poison.
Foods you could eat the best foods the next day. They're not going to come out properly for a while.
Then it's the poison that goes into it. I've had some mad poos from honestly, the one is the most
craziest.
Stinky. I even feel it myself. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad that's in my system. Like, that's that jobby that's just sitting in your belly. Like, I need to get this alcohol with me, man.
It is, isn't it?
Building up inside. I can feel it in my belly.
It is. I was going to say, so we'll talk about empty calories because that's a good thing.
Yeah, so let's talk about calories, right? Calories and alcohol. And we're going to get onto a sec if you want to have alcohol, some strategies that we do with our clients, what to do if you're in a fat loss phase, what to do if you're trying to build muscle and strength gain, and the effect that it's going to have on that as well. Because I think we tie this back to what we see with our clients. Mm-hmm. Calories, the average calorie that you'll get minimum per drink is going to be 100 calories, right? This is without any mixer. So I think even vodka's like 79 calories per shot, right?
Is that what it is?
So it's 7 calories per gram that you're getting. Now, empty calories, well, arguably not all calories are bad, but this is where I'm
They're
like,
empty.
This is where I'm on that.
You don't get any nutritional value.
There's genuinely no nutritional value from this, but you need to think about what's it doing to your behaviours. Because as much as there's no nutritional value, if that's going to then make you eat more, that's a recipe for disaster.
You're going to have to eat more because you need to. So if you've got, say you eat 2,500 calories and you have 2,000 calories and then 500 calories alcohol, which would be quite hard to do, but a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, but
quite easily.
So I don't know if it does make you eat more because how many people are just drinking straight vodka, right? You know what I mean? People are putting the mixers in, they're having the beers, the carbs and all that, and the cocktails and the sugar.
The rest of the sugar is actual calories.
So this is what I mean. Like alcohol itself, yes.
The alcohol is empty calories. But then you're obviously having a lot of sugary stuff on top of it, which isn't empty calories. But it's no great calories either.
Doesn't make you feel good.
No, it's no.
In the scheme of alcohol, it doesn't.
Especially with alcohol.
Yeah.
Because your metabolism's already fucked when you're drinking.
Yeah.
So you're not metabolising the sugar properly either. You're not metabolising anything you drink with alcohol properly. The food you eat, the drink you drink, like the sugary drinks or whatever it is you're having with your alcohol, you don't metabolise that the same for a length of time.
Yeah.
So empty calories, and the reason alcohol is because it is a poison. So your body needs to get rid of the poison.
It needs to process it.
So
process it out.
Your body has to do stuff to get rid of the calories. But usually it's used as energy. But there's not much energy can be used because your body needs to get rid of it.
It can't convert it. It can't be used as energy. Now, what does get used as energy is your beers because it has carbs in it. Your mixers because it's got sugar in it. Like that's where you might feel, oh, I'm not hungry. Like if you're drinking just straight vodka, you will get a hunger response. But if you're drinking beers and all that, like there's a bloated feeling, there's a fucking there's a processing type feeling. You know what I mean? So it's different from person to person, their tolerance. Now the calorie side of things, let's get into that and how you would go. Like, what is your advice to a client that is looking to lose weight in a fat loss phase? You've been working on for a bit, but they're consuming alcohol. Like, what's that conversation look like?
That's a hard one, and I cut. I'm pretty open and honest to my clients. I say, look, see if you got to drink a lot. I actually don't think you're ready to go into a cut.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not ready to cut calories because before we didn't even know, like we knew the effects of alcohol on a surface level. But when you listen to stuff like that and you do stuff like that, you knew them on a biological level. You understand how it's burning calories, what it's doing to the body, what exactly it's doing to sleep, and then what it's doing to you the next day. And you're like, look, you're decreasing your calories, you're decreasing your energy you're putting into your body while trying to, like, your body try to work optimally. Like, I mean, you can cut, probably not as long.
Yeah.
I had somebody who drank all the time, and like we had the conversation before she went into a cut, and I was like, look, drink's like going to make this so much harder for you. And she actually stopped drinking for 12 weeks, and she was like, that was great. No, she's back drinking again because she's at maintenance and she's enjoying her life, and she was like, kind of glad I done that then. And I'm like, you kind of need there's very few people who will get away with feeling good and cutting a lot of body fat at the same time, I think, personally.
Yeah. Aye, no, you're right. One of the things we missed, like what makes all our clients' journeys successful is every single one of them stop drinking alcohol. Mm-hmm. And I'm just being just from the experience of when you think about it, like the experience of all the clients I've seen that have reached their goals with the most kind of progress and how you measure that, the commonality between them all is they stopped drinking alcohol for that period of time that they were getting after it. Now, this is what it doesn't need to be forever, but in a fat loss phase, I think it's silly to drink alcohol in that, because it's not that the alcohol calories are bad, right? So let's say the average person will drink 5 drinks on a night out, and that's not just straight vodka. Even if you can discipline yourself to do that, cool, go for it. Drink spirits and diet juice and keep your calories to a low part. But as you start getting intoxicated, your discipline is wavered. Is wavered. Now, I've caught myself a couple of times. I'm like, nah, I'll not have that, because I know I'm trying to like dial in. But that then becomes an unhealthy obsession as well. Because then there's a buzzkill on the party. No, I'm not doing that. I need to be such and such high. So it's not. You're right. It's not the right time to go into that fat loss phase if you're going to consume alcohol. It doesn't make sense to do so, because no matter who you are, there's going to be an element of guilt the next day, because you're like, oh man, I had that fucking chippy, and I got that food at the end of the night, or whatever it is. So it becomes hard. Now, if you're going to do it, if you want to try it, then okay, there's a couple of strategies you can do. Strategy 1, mixers and spirits. If you're going to drink, right, mixers and spirits. Number 2 for me, skip around and drink water. That's like the 2 best things that you can do. The third one is having good meals before you start drinking. So a solid breakfast with high protein count, like a normal whole food meal.
Make sure
whole food, if it's lunch,
get
you're
good
going
nutrition
out
in
for,
before you drink.
That's the other strategy I would do. Focus on protein. Now, after or the night before, like getting good amount of electrolytes in your bloodstream is going to help you. Now, what would be your go-to? Like, would you just put Himalayan salt, or would you use a supplement at this point?
I'd probably use a supplement if you're going to actually drink. You have one before you go and have one after you go.
So Powerade, what's the other one? Lucozade and things like that. They drinks like they are sports drinks for a reason, because they will replenish that part. You could then buy off My Protein. You could buy your own
electrolytes
mix, just a powder that you put in your drinks, or make sure that you've got some Himalayan salt on hand as well. Like, it might not be the best, but it will help.
It will help to a degree.
It will dramatically.
A client actually asked me the other day, she says, what do you think about banking calories?
Or for the drink?
And I said to her, I was like, how much do you get? She's like, I'm looking to go a wee bit more, to be honest. I'm looking to enjoy. I'm like, I think banking calories is a very unhealthy habit.
Yeah, so let's talk.
I think it's a very obsessive habit.
We'll come on to the maintenance and growth phase of banking calories. For fat loss, no. This is where I come down to. If you're going to bank your calories in a fat loss, you're already restricting yourself.
But I also think you're destroying your relationship with food.
And your metabolism, though. Like we just said, there is no nutritional component to the calories that you're counting towards
extra
for alcohol.
The extra.
So what are you banking? You're not having whole foods. You're not having protein. You're not having B vitamins, nutrients going into your body that dramatically give you an increase of energy. You're not getting any of that. I don't care if you're banking them for sugar, calories, or carbs, or whatever. I think this is where to me,
you're banking good calories for poorer quality calories.
So to me, you don't. And I'll retract that a wee bit. If you're going to bank calories, still hit your protein goal. That's the only kind of thing I would say that it has somewhat value, but all you're doing, and I guess this is where if it's beers and stuff, because it's carbs, right? So yeah, okay, you could have a wee bit less carbs during the day, but I wouldn't even get into that conversation. See, for what it's worth, it's probably not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
So I take it back to when I was in shape when I was younger, and I felt like shite. Do you know what I mean? You are going to feel like shite doing that for a very long time.
The alcohol hits you harder. Yep. You've not ate as much.
And it doesn't make you feel as good the next day. No. Doesn't make you feel as good when you're drinking. Your body, your mind won't feel, you'll feel worse during the week. Your body composition won't change as fast as it could have. You are literally making everything worse. Yeah.
So, fat loss phase, there's things you can do on the day. The day after probably has to be one of the main reasons, maybe not even the day after, the couple of days after is one of the main reasons I don't advocate in a fat loss phase drinking alcohol, because you don't move as much.
No.
You're then, again, your discipline's wavered because you're like, I can't be bothered having that nice food, because your body's crying out for fucking salt and sodium and fucking greasy food, because it's like, I need it. Like, there's what was it he spoke about in the podcast? the effect in your brain of like that knock-on effect the next day of wanting that foods, like it's the craving, no the actual crying out the foods.
I know, because you've lost dopamine and serotonin.
Yeah, that's it. So you're looking for those responses. It's the quick hits. It's like fucking
you need
the patch.
You need it.
You're looking for that. Now, I've got clients who are very disciplined and they can put these measures in place. And what's worked with them is setting a goal of getting outside as early as you can, having your electrolyte drink, and getting back to some sort of food. Might be a smaller meal, but sort of food routine of like
good food.
And whole foods, well salted with Himalayan salt and all that sort of stuff. But majority of clients, I see it on them.
I'm the same. See you the next day. I'm a lazy bastard.
Aye.
And I want to be a lazy bastard. See you going out, see cunts who go out runs and that. Fair play to you, but that's not me. And that's not most people.
No, it's not.
So you need to like
accept
when you're listening to people's genes, do you know look and go, there's 8 people in a friend group, but everybody does the same thing.
Aye.
But no one person is the same.
No, I know.
So see if you're sitting in a friend group and you're going, but my friends can do it, but I don't feel good. That's because you're fucking different.
Aye,
That's because you're fucking different.
Aye.
You need to realise that.
Aye. But even identical twins have different responses to how food, drinks and everything can affect them. So fat loss wise, that's how I'd go about the calorie side of things. I wouldn't even reduce your calories if you know you're drinking out a couple of days. I mean, let's say like most fat loss phases should be 4 weeks, right? We've argued that in the past. Like most of them will hover around that length of time. So for those 4 weeks when you're planning that, just don't drink, right? Mm-hmm. It might be simple to say that. If you've got occasions and stuff coming out, what I would also say this, right? Just eat normal on those days if that's going to be the case, and try and do some things. But also know that in that fat loss phase, the couple of days aren't going to massively impact it in the grand scheme of things. You can still get away with good results, because out of the 4 weeks, for 28 days that you're doing it, 3 of those days being bad ones, you're still going to win within that month. So I'll say that with that caveat, but also know that it could be better. But it could be a way worse if you're drinking regularly on a regular basis.
It depends your goal.
It does.
Depends your goal.
But what's the point of a fat loss phase?
Your performance in the gym will fucking go right down.
Yeah.
Go right down. Your performance is fucked in the gym. Yeah. It's not just, you'll lose fat at a similar rate, but your actual performance in the gym will crash.
You think it's, so it obviously is affected, but do you think
to the amount the average Scottish person's drinking?
Aye, but if it's like, but I have got a wedding, that's the only thing I've got on. I'm going to a wedding, I'm going to drink at it, you know what I mean?
Aye, well, you just need to, the days after, you need to recover.
Aye.
Do you know that way? If you got to drink, you need to go to the gym one less time probably.
But that's what I mean, that one drinking occasion, you're chalking that up to like 3 to 4 days out your plan. You know what I mean?
Aye.
You're doing all these things.
It's not just a 1 day or 2 day thing. You need to actually add in a few more days.
Aye. So you then look at, why am I not seeing any results? And you're like, right, okay, I've drank every weekend, but that's only been 1 day. But you're not realising what's happening the day after.
3 days effect.
And okay, you get back to it Monday and or maybe even Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Through the week as well, sometimes it's just, we're all humans. Sometimes we don't have a good day and we miss a workout, we miss a food. You just have a shit day without alcohol.
I was going to say, I'm not drinking 10 months and there's always shite days.
Aye, so you need to bear that in mind, that this isn't just about just the drinking of alcohol, it's all the behavioural components going into it. Mm-hmm. Right, you're in a growth phase, a gaining phase, or a maintenance phase. Is your advice different at all with alcohol?
It's the same. Because that's what I say, people who are bulking and they start eating poorer quality food.
Yeah, sorry, let's keep this to the gaining phase just now then.
The whole point is to build muscle. You don't build muscle through poor quality food. You don't lose body fat through poor quality, like consistent poor quality food. Consistent, right?
Now there's a blunting effect to that growth, to the muscle repair and growing repair,
right, protein
adding
synthesis.
muscle. Yeah, that is hugely affected. You work out. I wouldn't. And I want to be careful with this. It doesn't make it pointless to work out in the morning before you're drinking at night, because the workout is the workout at the end of the day. Mm. But in terms of growing muscle, that massively is blunted as soon as you drink alcohol. The day of, the day after, and the day after, up to 72 hours.
Yeah.
And some people, a wee bit longer, which is mad.
And see, the great thing when you're young, doesn't blunt it that much.
Nah,
you get older,
aye.
It does.
Aye. But then I think you're also working out 7 days a week, so that blunting signal is probably good, because you're like, oh man, I'm chilled.
You're like, I can't go to the fucking gym.
So gaining phase, the advice is the same. It's getting back to it and doing the strategies of take a drink, don't drink a drink. If you really need to drink, if you really feel the whatever's happening to drink. And then the other one's maintenance. So maintenance is probably what life looks like. And it just is what it is.
Aye.
Again, banking calories don't really come into it. The only thing I mess about was carbs. I wouldn't this isn't 2 bank calories. It's going right. How
I
much
used
carbs?
to get people to bank calories at the start. And then I actually thought and I went,
does it matter?
aye.
Does the 500 calorie difference matter?
Nah. Is it unhealthy habit?
Because
I think personally, I think it's severely unhealthy.
Here's why I think it's unhealthy, because you're like, I never ate that, so now I can eat this.
Aye.
I never done that, so now I can.
It's like saving up for a piece of cake. Would you save up for a piece of cake? No. Why would you save up for some alcohol?
Well, think about it. Would you say to somebody, well done, you smashed it today, go treat yourself to a drink tonight?
Aye.
It's the same thing. It's a very, very toxic relationship, and that's very common in the fitness space.
Aye.
Oh, done a 45-minute workout, so I can
Going to go and eat a burger.
I can not even a burger. I can have a takeaway. I can have a takeaway tonight.
I can have this now.
And it's the
I
whole,
couldn't before.
Aye.
I can now.
And it's the way, the frame of mind that we speak to ourselves and that we talk to ourselves and all of that. So I guess a big part of this episode has to be on how, if you choose to, what would you even do to try and step away from alcohol for a wee bit?
It's mad because obviously when I looked, like when you look at an actual, there's so many alcoholics out there that don't know it, right? And like, see, you're saying you get that feeling. I always remember looking at someone in my family when they drank and I go, definitely affects them differently for everybody else. And when they came off, they had that like severe withdrawals, high anxiety, high depression. Do you know that way? And when you listen to like that stuff like that literature and everything like that, and I've seen it firsthand, it's very hard to stop drinking cold turkey.
Yeah.
Very fucking difficult because the anxiety and depression will hit you fucking hard.
Yeah.
And you'll go, I need the drink. The drink will basically be telling your brain, I actually need this, mate.
It's programmed into you for years.
I need this to survive. And you're like, well, I must need this in. But it's not actually the fact that like you need it to survive. It's your brain's just so fucking used to it that it needs it to feel normal. But that's just because your normal is so skewed.
And I'm glad you went this direction because it can be there's different levels.
You can't just go, stop drinking, you fucking idiot.
It's complex from every person's experience. Now, I like what they've done in every podcast that I listen to and every bit of research I've done. The pop-up that came up on the page or whatever was always, look, if you're struggling with this, use the tools that we've got access to. Alcohol Anonymous, it's no embarrassing to go to that.
No.
It's fantastic. Like, I know some clients who went to Gamblers Anonymous, they went to Alcohol Anonymous, and I can't even say the word, Anonymous. Is that right? And have all spoke incredibly highly of these support systems, right?
Aye.
Why not use them? Mm-hmm. So in the show notes, we're going to leave a link to where you can find that, because I think it's worth mentioning that. Like, this is our experiences and this is our advice. Now, strategies to stepping away from it. I think if you wouldn't label yourself as an alcoholic, but you go out from time to time and you want to try the whole, you know what, for the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, I'm not going to drink alcohol, then I think you can get away with the whole cold turkey approach because it's not as programmed into you.
Yeah.
But there's going to be urges, just like there's cravings when you don't have chocolate. You know what I mean? When it's very similar. The chemicals in our brain is very similar when we are feeding ourselves these crappy foods, because there's a response, there's a dopamine hit with it, just as there is with drinking alcohol. So social occasions is the hardest thing for most people, and saying no to the social occasion works. It works, but like you said,
fixing the problem.
Where do you draw the line? Yeah,
it's no fixing the problem.
And I think you need to communicate to your friends, the group that you're in, say, look, guys, I'm
actually really fucking struggling.
You
need to be open and honest and no in denial.
Yeah.
You go, I'm really struggling with whatever it is. I need to step away from this or it's going to destroy me.
Yeah.
Like, you need, like, because if I had an open, like, I look back and now, when I have an open, honest conversation about it now, I go, drink makes me feel terrible, blah, blah, blah. I don't drink, right? And I'm fucking blunt. I'm very straight to the point. But before it was, I don't really want to drink. I just don't really like how it makes me feel.
You're
That's
tiptoeing on the
you're
subject.
tiptoeing on
It's
it.
like you want people to go, pull me in.
Aye, it is.
Secretly, you might.
Because you're in denial of how bad it actually makes you feel. Because you're like, this makes me feel so bad, but all my friends do it. This makes me feel so bad, but it also makes me feel so good. Do you get me?
You need to be honest with yourself. You do. So my brother done it for a year. He went from, I don't know, I think it was like 2 bottles of MD, a bottle of Bucky, and 6 Coronas Friday, Saturday. Might be butchering that, might be more, might be less, but it was a lot of drinking. As he started, and this is the great thing about health and fitness, and many of you guys listening to this might be at this point where you're working on your health and fitness and you're still drinking, but then you start realising you're like, man, I feel good when I work out.
Aye.
I actually know what normal feels like. Normal feels like this, because you don't know what good feels like. You don't know what normal is until you get into it. I say this to all my clients who work with me that have been in calorie deficits for 6 months. It's like, you don't know what normal is. You think normal calories is 1,400. Wait till I get you to 1,900 and see how life feels.
Aye.
So it's the same way where you're working on your health and fitness and you go, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to drink. And you start communicating that side of things to your friend group or family. And my fucking bastard family still tried to pull him in that. Like, Luz, there's no doubt about it, Luz was morbidly obese at one point in his life, right?
Yeah.
Big guy. And was working on his health and fitness. And drink was a big component to that. And as he starts working on that, doing great. Oh, you're looking great, Luz. Why we drink? Have a wee drink. It's like, fuck off.
You've earned it.
Honestly, back the fuck off. Why? And I hate that our whole culture is like, you're weird because you don't drink. It's like, no, you're weird because you do. You're weird because you need it.
Aye.
Have you ever thought about that? And I'm telling you right now, like, I'm going to be very strict and hard on some family members that start having this, because I see it in their life, and it's only going to pull others around them down. Because what happens, like, a disease then hits, and that disease is then amplified because their health's worse. Mm-hmm. Now, you can arguably get away with more when you work out, right? So at least you're fighting a negative signal with a positive signal, right? There's a bit of fight in there, but life can be better off when you go without it for a while. And like you said, I'm at a point where I'm going to have it from time to time, but it's still going to be few and far between. Mm-hmm. So communicating to your friends or communicating to your family, like James said, be blunt, be strict with it. Like, I'm not doing this because I'm working on my health just now. I'm trying to work on something. I'm trying to see something. You don't need to know. Again, I would say no is also an answer. Aye. Remember, it doesn't need to be no because.
But does it work?
It might not, but you should hit them with that. No's an answer.
Aye.
And they'll be like, no's an answer.
Aye.
And another thing you can do to make them feel worse, right, is going, can you just respect my decision? Honestly, that'll fucking, you want to be a buzzkill, that'll be a buzzkill.
Aye.
But in a way, it doesn't make you feel bad. It'll make them feel bad. Aye. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're only responsible for your actions, and if they're making the pressure on that feel,
I don't think there's any worse than trying to be peer pressured into drinking.
Aye. And I've done it to some of my mates as well.
We've all done it. We've all done it. Like, everybody does it. It's like, but
we shite bag, eh?
See in that hang me. Like, no, to be fair.
No, I would never do it now.
No, but it doesn't make me feel as bad now. It's if it's continued throughout the night, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't give a fuck, mate.
Are you having a good time?
Aye. But clearly not.
Aye.
Clearly fucking not.
So getting a wee bit heated, isn't it? The emotions start coming out here. But here's
see, a lot of people don't know a lot. There's many people out there who don't really want to drink, but do.
So let's talk about this part, which is the toughest part. Changing your friend group. It sucks. It's fucking hard.
Yep.
If the pressure is that much on that social occasion, and you get to a point where you can't go out with them because it's all night, constant barring, just drink. Here's a drink, and they've bought a drink and it's in front of you, and you're still like, no. You need to remove yourself from these situations, and you do have to say no to them. Mm-hmm. And you're going to grow a wee bit of distance between your friends and that. But I think if it's a true friend,
they'll
come round. They'll come round to it. But there's no doubt about it. Like, the first couple of times of doing it, it's like, fuck, man, you're getting hammered.
And you also make new friends.
You will.
You do.
So most people are drinking because it's social. So let's talk about, like, there is social things you can do that don't require drinking. Mm-hmm. What would be your go-to ones? Reading a book in my house. Maybe asking the wrong person.
Aye, asking the wrong person. I would
No,
say.
but like, what do you do with your mum, your dad and
Just
stepmom?
go out to the shops
Go
and
walks, right?
Aye,
Aye.
go walks.
So activity.
Have some quality time, like
Aye.
genuine quality time. Something I never knew how good it was until I've been so sober.
Right.
I go, fuck, I actually want to go with my family on a Sunday.
Aye.
Weird.
Aye.
But you're like, I want to go. Like, and a lot of people go, I've not seen them in a while. And there's many, many people who experience that quality time. There's many, many people who don't. They go, fuck, I need to see my mom. I need to see my dad. I need to see my sister. I need to see my brother. Instead of, fuck, get to see, I have class thingies, blah, 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 blah. When you're drunk, when you're hungover at the weekends, it's not really like that. I don't know.
So let me put Netflix on. Shut the curtains,
How you
otherwise
been?
the sunlight.
How you been? Blah, blah, aye, great. And then it's just, my long week at work, eh?
It just becomes a whole depressing conversation.
Because alcohol is a depressant. It depresses you.
Aye, contrary to
It's
popular
a
belief.
depressant. Cocaine on the other hand is a
Antidepressant.
no, but it's a depressant. It literally makes you feel worse through the night. You know what I mean? You're in the taxi on the way home. You're like, fucking fuck that bitch. Innit?
Slivering your words.
Fucking fuck that cunt, man. Honestly, fucking God. I need to go home in my fucking bed.
Do you? So, social occasion wise, like if you,
I can personally still go to my mates and still go to all the places they would go.
well, that's what I mean. I think for a lot of people though, I don't know if that would even be on the table. And just being truthful, just with clients that I've spoke with and stuff like that, and like you can. The good thing is like for guys, usually like drinking's around some sort of activity anyway. It's like going to watch a football or golf and things like that. It's like those occasions, they can still be done because there's a distraction. There's something there. It can be harder if it's like sitting down and just talking.
I know somebody personally who's 40 who stopped drinking a year and a half ago now. Still goes to golf. Still goes to his work. Goes on all his nice holidays. He's got a lot more money because he's no drinking or that. And he's loving life. He says, fucking wish I'd done this earlier. 40-year-old stopped drinking. He's like, why the fuck did I not do this earlier? Yeah. Goes to family parties and you can see he's there. Do you know what I mean? He's fucking having a laugh. He's there. And that's because these people who go to these things, they've already got that energy. They just think because they started drinking when they were like so young that that's what they need to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They think that's what I need to do in this occasion, but they go, as I said at the start, they actually enjoy all these things. You'll probably still enjoy most of the things you enjoy. Aye,
that was the point I was going to say, but also I think you'll start to come to the realisation that you were drinking and masking that you didn't actually want to be there in the first place.
Aye, that can happen.
That honestly, that will happen.
So here's where, what was I going to say there? Aye, so I seen Alex put up a story and I was like, that's so fucking true.
So what's his story?
No, like what happens when you're no drinking.
Oh, right.
You have a lot more time to think. You have a lot more time to sit in your dark thoughts.
Aye.
You have a lot more time to be in your own mind, be in that place where
you're confronting some shit.
It doesn't feel that good. But when you're drinking every weekend, you're never there. You feel a wee bit shit the next day, but it's actually the alcohol that's made you feel like that. You're not just sitting in your cognitive mind.
Is it anxiety?
Aye. But you're not just sitting in your own mind.
It's like, last night.
Whereas Saturday nights, I'm usually sitting myself and I'm in that dark place. And what I've found for no drinking is that dark place gets less and less and less because I've got time to think. And no, too much time to think is no good. But if you go, you know what? I was drinking for this reason. Why is that? I done this for this reason. Why is that? And if you spend some time yourself, and I genuinely think that's probably one of the best things that ever happened, is I look back and go, no drinking for so long let me process so much in such a short amount of time. Do you know what I mean? And there's people out there go, right, they leave a relationship, they leave a job, and they continue drinking. They go, why do I not feel better? Because you've never been in your own mind, and no drinking allows you to be there. Yeah. And then a lot of people, they won't drink for 2 or 3 weeks, and they go, I fucking hate this. Fuck this. That's how people, why would people want to feel this? Yeah. It's because you've never been there. And once you're there for a few times, you go, this isn't actually as bad. But I genuinely think drink curves so many people's feelings deep down. Yeah. Do you know that way? Because you don't feel anything because it numbs you. And when you come off drink, they all come back, but they all come back harder than they ever have.
That's what I mean. It builds up.
Aye.
It's going to build up.
And everybody's going through some shit, and drink helps them, stops that. Yeah. Do you know that way? Yeah. And I think that's why so many people struggle to stop. Because you go, I don't actually like a lot of things about myself. I know somebody said to me the other day, I hate myself for how I've let myself get. And I didn't say, but I was like, I felt like saying, you need to fix this right now. You need to know the things you're doing.
Yeah.
But again, that wasn't my place.
No.
But I know when he said that, I was like, I've been there. And I was like, I know so many people are right in that place right now.
And this is the thing. So wherever you are in your journey with health, fitness, alcohol, whatever it is, starting on it now is always going to be better than starting on it in a year from now or next week or whatever.
I think if you're looking at it, you go, I kind of want to stop drinking or I want to keep drinking. It's a long process to get to who you want to be anyway.
Aye, so it's not, and this
so
isn't
like,
something
I need to do this now.
And you're dialed in from now onwards, right?
Never, it doesn't work like that.
It'll work. It'll be like the wee pendulum. It'll swing back and forth.
Aye.
You have good days, you have bad days.
Aye.
You have good days, you have bad days. And I always like kind of bringing it back to the Domino's pizza because I love Domino's pizza. I used to have it and I had it and I felt shit. I had it, I felt shit, and I had it and I felt shit. And I was like, why am I having this? Because it makes me feel so shit. So I have it few and far between now.
I remember the last time I drank.
So drinking as well. And I think that's, if you bring it back to that, like think to yourself, like, what does life look like when you're not having it?
Aye.
And compare it to that. Mm-hmm. And if it's good, then there's your motivator. If it's shit, why is it shit? Mm-hmm. You need to get down to a deeper level. It's not going on.
So that's what, if you were like explaining why you drink to me, I'd be like, cool, like keep it going. Mm. Like you don't have any problems. You feel good. You don't feel bad after it. Like but also, what would I be saying to you in 10 years' time if I kept up that lifestyle? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, in this moment in time, I might be drinking on a regular basis, but in 10 years from now, would I look back at that and go, I wish I hadn't drank?
Were those times worth it? Now, time, like if I look back at like, if I look at hilarious memories, fucking amazing stories, funny, just straight up banter.
Aye.
And I think to myself, what would that have been like if I skipped a few drinks?
Aye.
You know what I mean?
I look back and go, I wouldn't have. Somebody said something to me the other day, and I regret that. And I was like, I don't regret anything I've done, but I'm glad I don't date now.
Yeah.
Don't regret taking any drugs, don't regret drinking at all, but I'm glad I don't date anymore. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm fucking glad I done it.
But life is all about experience as well.
Aye.
And chalking things up to where you are.
I would never say to somebody, never ever drink, by the way.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No, same.
Like, even all these risks are here. I actually think you do need to experience the things with all these other people.
Aye, because you need to make your own mind up.
Aye.
Now, when we talk about strength and performance and that sort of stuff, like the biggest component is affected to your sleep. So to me, I want to be stronger, and that's it. So if I know something's going to massively blunt that and halt me from doing that, then my powerful reason why I'm not doing it.
That's why it's so easy. So
that's probably the other point, is kind of having a true why to
why you're not drinking,
why you don't want to do it. Because if like you said, you're going to be open to these opportunities where people are like, you want to drink, and you're like, nah. So how come? You're going to be asked, and if you're like, I just want
to feel a little bit better on myself. Not really good enough.
What does that mean? Like, get down to a deeper root. Like, why? It's like, well, I've seen, I don't know. You just want to have a longer lifestyle of healthiness.
Because if you're like, if I look back why I didn't drink, and I can be open and honest, fucking hate how I feel the next day. I feel really anxious for days. I do not work as hard, so I don't make as much money, right? I also don't do as well in the gym, which then affects my mood even more. Then that's a continuous effect on the next week and the next week and the next week. I'm not as good a friend. I'm also not as good a partner. I'm also not as confident with every single person around about me. I feel like I'm in my shell. I don't really feel like speaking to people as much.
Because you can't be arsed either.
For days and days and days. And then by the time I feel all right, I still don't feel where I was. Because I look back at the week before and go, I need to catch up because I've got that week. That's me, like personally.
No,
I just go, why did I ever want to put myself through that? Because I said to myself, can I do life sober? I was like, I'll try. I'm going to go out. I'm going to do everything that I used to do, drinking. I'm going to meet people sober. I'm just going to do everything sober. And I was like, I can do this all, luckily. I know not everybody can do the things that used to do sober, and that would hurt. go, I used to fucking love this. And I can only imagine that would hurt. Because you're like, this used to be so fucking good. How is it no good? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like going to clubs.
Oh.
It's like one of the worst things I could think about doing now. But back in early 20s.
I do like music too.
Loved it.
I would still go to a rave.
Aye, I know you would, but that's what I mean. You're going to change.
Aye.
And like some of my mates go out, and I'll not get invited because I don't drink.
I don't get invited to a lot of things, and I go, that's cool.
I know that's on me. But also, I think like I would always turn them down anyway. So like you can only be expected to be invited to things, and that's why I probably should have said yes to a wee bit more of them. If I truly wanted to be in that group, but don't like football, don't like any of that. So I'm kind of happy to miss those ones. But like I really like the people that they're good friends.
That's what I remember. We were on the holiday and we were watching the golf, now having drinks, and I go, "This is my idea of hell. This is my idea of hell." Yeah. I go, "Do you actually enjoy this?"
That was like my stag do, sitting down watching the football. I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. I think Rangers Celtic were playing the next day as well. Right. They're like, "Oh, we'll stay till like 1 o'clock and get one of the last trains up to Edinburgh." Nope, I'm getting the first train. As I enjoy yourself.
But that, see, like leaving early and doing your own thing, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Nah, but it is frowned upon.
It is frowned upon.
It is definitely frowned upon. I was like, look, I'm used to what you want. I was like, I'd rather go home.
Aye.
I actually want to chill out and see Gillian and that sort of stuff.
Because you know, right? You know, when everybody starts leaving the party, how lonely it feels when you're drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't it?
Aye. So, no, stay out, come on.
Aye.
Be my friend.
Aye. So, have you got anything else to add?
No, I think we covered off everything I'd probably want to add in that. No doubt there's more to come on this, and probably would love for you guys to reach out. What's your experiences? What's your tips and tricks? What's the struggles been like for you guys? Just realised how low I'm sitting down in that. Gonna need to move the frame. But yeah, I think hopefully that gives you a bit more insight into alcohol. I don't think it's one of the first times we've actually spoke about it on this podcast. Me and James has definitely been kind of affected firsthand with how we've been brought up in a household.
So I don't actually ever know if that has contributed to my decision making to know.
I think deep down,
probably
I think deep down subconsciously you know it is. I think I've kind of compared myself to parents when I've drank, and I'm like, man, that's just like my dad's, just like my mum. It's just like, and I'm like, well, I can see those.
I'm a really good drunk.
Yeah,
but the next day I'm the opposite.
That's what I mean.
I'm a cunt.
Anxiety and hang pression.
It's hang pression for me.
There's definitely, and that all, like, why put yourself in those situations if that's how
that's what my thought was.
But here I am. I can enjoy the flavour of a drink and not get that the next day. So, and I think that's a good balance to have, but also understand that that's not a weekly thing.
No,
it's not even a monthly thing.
I think that's what when Andrew Human said that, I was like, I'm glad I don't like any drink.
But there's somebody who knows the research to an extent, still chooses to have a couple of drinks a year. Right? So it's no that we're not here to demonise, not here to shame. It's just to provide some information for you to try something new, because our purpose is all about getting you healthier, stronger, and living a happier lifestyle. Alcohol will play its part to why you would have it and why you shouldn't have it. So you need to make your mind up with your situation, and that's the best we can all do. So with that being said, enjoy today's episode, and if you have, leave a 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you choose to listen to this. And until next time,
have a nice one.